Right now on the National Weather Desk, bomb cyclone. The storm off the west coast topples hundreds of trees across Washington state.
It just sounded like a big explosion.
It's also driving an atmospheric river that is bringing torrential rain and feet of snow to Northern California.
My car even got trapped for a time on the side of the road.
I'm getting sandbags to stop the water from going in the house.
Trip to Everest. It's a trek to the tallest mountain in the world.
An unforgettable gift. My first glimpse of what I dreamt about for decades.
Alabama earthquake? Yes, they do happen.
The whole house just shook for a few seconds.
And another eruption. Lava is flowing again in Iceland.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. That bomb cyclone and atmospheric river we've been following all week is still pounding the west coast this morning. While Washington state is cleaning up from the worst wind damage in decades, Northern California is still under both flood and winter storm warnings. Now, here's what we know this morning. The storm killed at least 2 people in Washington. More than 300,000 customers are still without power as the wind toppled hundreds of trees and also many power lines. And here's what it looks like from above. You can see the storm swirling off the coast, driving all that moisture from the Pacific Ocean into Northern California. The heaviest rain will fall between southern Oregon and the San Francisco Bay Area. Many places will see 6 to 12 inches. Isolated areas could get up to 18 inches of rain through tomorrow night. But in the mountains, the precipitation will be snow. Mount Shasta could see more than 8 feet of snow from this one storm alone. Now back in Washington state, you can hear it right there. The buzz of chainsaws echo across many neighborhoods. The massive trees were no match for hurricane-force winds. They smashed cars and fell through homes.
It just sounded like a big explosion.
I'm in my front window and it's just kind of coming down like this. And I'm like, it was like slow motion. It was like, oh.
Ryan Sims was east of Seattle last night where he found out that while the wind has stopped, the danger is far from over.
Post-wind, the dangers of destruction are the biggest worries here in Issaquah.
We've been going from one response to another.
Firefighters tell KOMO this call was among the worst. A possible generator-caused fire, leading to a smoke-filled catastrophe.
It was way higher up than like what you would see from like a chimney or something. I've just never seen anything like it before.
Yeah. Following the biggest windstorm here in possibly decades, fire crews worry cases like this will be the norm rather than the exception in the days ahead.
The danger is still there, but we kind of let down our guard so we don't feel that wind anymore.
Fallen power lines are still some of the biggest worries of all. In the middle of Issaquah, our cameras captured this. Plenty of close calls as folks like Lisa Carmen nearly drove into these downed lines.
So I wonder, someone coming, 35 miles an hour in turns, would they hit that and or the power line here?
It was those hazards that led to tough decisions for emergency crews. For a time during the storm, they only responded to life-threatening calls. And in the aftermath, they say calls for help are relentless.
In my career, 20 years has been here, probably my busiest day that I've been on.
Portions of Interstate 5 were closed as the system dropped heavy rain and snow in the region. The highway is now back open, but several trucks were trapped for hours on Wednesday. Max Tedford spoke to drivers about the conditions on the road.
Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah.
Nazru, originally from Uzbekistan, says he's been stuck with his co-driver since 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, meaning he'd been in the truck at least 5 hours by the time I spoke with him.
How you doing in the rain and being in the truck so long?
It's very hard.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's very hard, really.
He wasn't near the longest one there, with many drivers expressing their frustration at the wait, one even mentioning they'd been there for almost 20 hours by the afternoon. However, Caltrans officials say there's not another option currently.
CHP, they work long shifts to try to keep our highways open and safe as possible. We don't close just for fun. We close for the safety of everyone. So we don't want a passage out there where people are not safe.
Chris Woodward showed me over their cameras that snow and high winds are blanketing the I-5 at higher elevations. And until they can clear it, they don't want to let people get stuck in the snow.
Fawndale is a great place for our closure northbound because it keeps them in the valley. close to amenities, so your hotels, your food. You continue going further north, those run out pretty quickly.
In Northern California, the storm also brought heavy rain, creating flooding, rock slides, and intense driving conditions on the road. Several homes and businesses have flooded, and officials are warning that more flooding is on the way as well. Cornell Barner has more.
What do you think of all this rain?
Well, at first it was cool, but now it's kind of scary.
Check out this scary, intense drive on Highway 101 North through Santa Rosa. This was College Avenue, where cars were barely getting through the high water. Signs posted warning drivers to slow down. By midday, water began enveloping parts of Mark West Station Road. Nearby Windsor Creek began flooding its banks.
So with this atmospheric river that's heading us right now, currently we're kind of at the monitoring stage, but we are starting to see that nuisance flooding coming up on the roadways.
This Caltrans crew clearing leaves from a flooded storm drain in Forestville. On a stormy day like this, Christian Oliva was happy for free sandbags at his local fire station.
I'm getting sandbags to stop the water from going in the house.
How bad does it get?
It gets pretty bad.
The Petaluma Water Department is on duty clearing rain-swollen storm drains. This week, it's all hands on deck.
We got most of the department out there looking, so we'll see how it goes.
First responders warning the public to stay home and hunker down if you can.
If you don't need to drive, stay off the roadways because we are expecting that flooding to start occurring.
The storm system was strong enough to produce a water spout off the Washington coast, prompting the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning for parts of Oregon and also Washington State. That warning has since been lifted, but officials say residents in the area should still be prepared. Dan V. Varma has that story.
This was the moment self-proclaimed weather geek Ian Reed saw what looked like a funnel of clouds.
The Cape Disappointment Lighthouse. And I knew there were storms in the area, and I checked my radar app, and there was a special marine warning that the National Weather Service had issued. And I went back to the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center. And when I got there, once I got to the observation deck, I looked out and it was right there, clear as day.
It was a water spout that prompted a tornado warning for Pacific County.
It happened over water where there were no boats or anything. So really the impacts are pretty limited.
Scott McDougall is the director of Pacific County Emergency Management. Though he says tornadoes are rare, it doesn't hurt to be prepared.
We encourage people to get to the lowest point in their house, to get on an inside wall, and just stay away from the path of the storm. We want people to have a go kit. We want people to be able to get out of their house quickly and have enough supplies that they can take with them and go somewhere safe and stay safe. We want them to be prepared to pick up and leave at a moment's notice.
A storm is also impacting the East Coast. This is a look at Albany, New York, where it is raining this morning. The rain is part of a large system that stretches from New York back into the Great Lakes. As the storm moves east today and tomorrow, it will bring much colder temperatures. That will mean snow across many states from West Virginia into New York State. New York City and New England will get much needed rain.
Wet, heavy slush buildup. That's what's left here on the side of the road.
And this is what it looks like right now in Green Bay, Wisconsin this morning. They are expecting up to 3 inches of snow before it changes over to rain. It will also be very windy with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. A volcano in Iceland erupted again. It's the 7th time this year the volcano in southwestern Iceland has erupted. It happened without warning late last night. The good news here is that the activity is believed to be much smaller than the last eruption in August. About 50 homes have been evacuated along with the famous Blue Lagoon Resort. Hurricane season is just about over, but we are learning more about this year's season. A new study found human-caused climate change made every Atlantic hurricane this year stronger than it otherwise would have been. The analysis from Climate Central says the warmer oceans increase hurricane wind speeds. Researchers say between 2019 and 2023, 84% of hurricanes were more intense than they would have been without climate change. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll head to Alabama and find out how drought is impacting Christmas tree farmers in that state. And we'll take you on a journey to the base camp at Mount Everest.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have an unsettled pattern for the next couple of days with a slow-moving storm. This is, of course, early this morning. Some of that rain is moving in, and that rain will overspread parts of New England during the course of the afternoon. That's about 2:30 or so. Colder air works in on the backside, so as we head into the day on Friday, notice rain changing to snow back into New York. Parts of New England will get some morning sun, and that will be replaced with some afternoon rain showers.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. Your Thursday is going to start out dry, and we'll see some clouds likely thickening up towards the end of the day. But a storm system lingering around will mean a chance for some more precipitation, especially into Friday as the core of that moves overhead. And we'll be seeing a mixture of rain and mountain snow, especially as we move through your Friday morning and Friday afternoon. Temperatures will be much colder as this system arrives here, and we're talking about highs only into the 40s to low 50s, colder into the mountains on Friday.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're looking at cool temperatures up in Nashville, 48 degrees, 57 degrees Atlanta, 61 in Macon, Jacksonville coming in at 65, Tampa 67 degrees, and about 66 in Mobile, Alabama. Strong cold front has pushed through the southeast. That's allowed for us to just get that northerly flow. Area of low pressure will push up over parts of the Great Lakes, dropping a little bit of light snow for them, but we're going to see nice clear conditions throughout the next few days and into the weekend.
The National Weather Desk.
Scientists say Mount Everest has been growing ever so slightly over the years as centuries of movement by rivers and erosion has caused the terrain to lift the mountain up. Scott Thuman took a trip to the iconic location to learn what it's like to trek the highest mountain range in the world.
Our guide Ganga navigating us over one ridge after another, until we arrived in the shadow of the legendary peak Ama Dablam. We met Lapka, a famous Sherpa who once led the likes of Prince Charles through these epic passes.
I don't know why a lot of people spend a lot of money and a lot of people come to put their life on risk on mountain.
You think it's crazy?
I think so.
For me, the way to Everest was more than just a bucket list item. I also turned 50 on the trail, and that morning, an unforgettable gift. My first glimpse of what I'd dreamt about for decades, the world's highest peak, all 29,031 feet of it.
There it is.
Everest, top of the world.
Even you're excited to see it.
Yes, this weather. And June. Yes. And a monsoon and a June. On your birthday. Happy birthday.
A testament that I still felt young enough to tackle life, even though a complete summit was not in the cards. This, the deadliest year on record. 18 trekkers and climbers lost their lives. And just 3 weeks later, we learn our helicopter pilot, seen here, talking to me about the conditions.
Yeah, the weather is so bad.
Crashed the same chopper we rode in, killing everyone on board. Back on the trail, we come to the famed Hillary Bridge, not for the weak of heart.
Somewhere around 450 feet, I'm told, above the ground. Rapids below us, windy day, and all of it is awesome.
A couple of days later, another grim reminder of the risks.
Few places can remind you of just how dangerous it is. That Tukla Pass, where we are right now, and as you can see, is just scattered with memorials everywhere you look for climbers who died trying to summit Everest and the surrounding mountains.
It's like representative of all the things that have
the lives and spirits here.
Everybody that shared the same passion of climbing these mountains and not worried about giving their lives to do it.
And that's just the beginning. To see the rest of Scott's trek, including the challenges that range from cold temperatures to high altitudes and even avalanches, just go to our YouTube channel. We posted it in the climate change playlist. Alabama is known more for tornadoes than earthquakes. Although rare, they do happen there, like one that rattled the ground Monday night. The epicenter was in a town northwest of Birmingham. Gracie Johnson spoke to someone who felt that impact.
The whole house just shook for a few seconds.
Monday night, just as Abby Rutledge drifted to sleep, she was awoken abruptly by what she later learned to be a 2.4 magnitude earthquake.
Immediately just shook my boyfriend. I said the whole house just shook. What is going on? He's like, it's probably just thunder. My dog's barking. I thought maybe the nearby bridge collapsed or cars just had an accident.
The earthquake was centered just outside of the town of Sipsey, roughly 1 mile below the Earth's surface. I asked Oliver Boyd with the United States Geological Survey how he would describe what a 2.4 magnitude earthquake feels like for someone close to the epicenter. His response mirrored what Rutledge felt.
They may have heard a large bang. If it's shallow enough, it's possible. If you're close enough that it would have felt like a car had hit your house. So a very kind of sudden shock.
Several viewers shared what they felt to ABC 3340's social media, and over 70 people reporting to the USGS they felt it too.
Living here in Alabama, I didn't think anything like that could happen.
Boyd reiterated that it is rare to feel an earthquake in Alabama. There have been less than 200 on record in central Alabama.
Christmas is just 34 days away, which means people might be ready to put up their Christmas tree. But those in Alabama who decorate with live trees could be waiting a little bit longer. Several tree farms in the state say drought conditions are impacting this year's crop. Gracie Johnson has more.
Farmers say the effects of this past summer might last through the holidays. Rick Kuntz with Sellers Christmas Tree Farm in Bedford, which first opened in 1951, says that he's only seen one other summer as dry as this year.
By mid-June this year, I could see problems. We had the first 2 weeks of June were kind of cool, if you remember, and then it got hot and dry, and day after day of 90, 95 degree heat with no rain. I lost a tremendous amount of my first year seedlings.
While he says that the rain from Hurricane Milton provided some much needed moisture for his trees, the conditions on his farms are still dry. You can see a pile of trees here that Kuntz says he had to get rid of because of the weather.
The climate has changed, and where we're getting these more aggressive storms, and we're getting warmer weather in the wintertime here, and it does affect the trees.
He says that while there are still plenty of Christmas trees available this year, the problems from this year's dryness have barely started. He says this may force him and other farmers to try different techniques.
It doesn't put me behind right now, but 3 and 4 years from now, it might create a shortage. Depending if we would have a second dry summer, that would really hurt.
Kuntz says he has some advice if you're planning on getting a live tree this year.
I've been telling the folks as they come and get a Christmas tree that as soon as they get home, even if you're not going to put it up, get it in water. Get it in water immediately.
With all the technology available today, like radars and satellites, why do we need human observers to keep an eye on the weather? Meteorologist Garrett Hyde explains.
And the role of weather spotters is critical to any weather operation, as there is only so much radar and satellite data can actually show us. And one way to ensure reports from spotters are accurate and credible, well, is of course to have a training course. And typically these are held before the spring severe weather season, but the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities also has a supplemental course for the winter weather, covering things such as winter safety, winter systems, and of course hazard criteria, as well as winter weather outlooks and those, how to make those quality reports.
We are really trying to emphasize that our Skywarn storm spotters are all seasons and all hazards. So having that familiarization, and obviously not expecting folks to be weather experts, but we feel like this regular training is really important and helps to kind of maintain that quality of observation.
And aside from that, spotter courses are also just a great resources for those who are interested in the weather and just want to learn more about it. But these courses are free to attend and usually run about an hour and a half, all of which for these will be held virtually December 4th, 5th, and the 9th. To sign up, you'll need to register at weather.gov/dvn/spotters.
And time now for a short break, but first we take flight over the Grand Canyon.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Got some snow showers and a wintry mix across portions of the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley for the day today, but a lot of sunshine out across the plains. We're mostly sunny from South Dakota all the way down to Kansas for the day today, but that wintry mix out across the Great Lakes moving out for the day tomorrow. And by the time that we get to your Saturday, most of the Midwest pretty quiet and dry.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. We're waking up to some chilly temperatures all the way up here from Amarillo back over to Oklahoma, even down into El Paso and middle and into the 40s. Down south of that, also chilly in the morning hours for San Antonio at 39. High pressure will move east today. Cold front drops in. That means more dry air. It also means more chilly temperatures coming up for the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there, everybody, and good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. The West Coast continues to get pounded by the remains of that bomb cyclone and a big atmospheric river in its wake that is sending more heavy rain up the Oregon coastline today. Meanwhile, Salt Lake sounds just fine at 58, San Diego at 72, but look at the heavy rain rolling through Cape Mendocino and into Oregon as our Thursday goes on. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Back-to-back storm systems from Northern California to Washington state dropped plenty of rain and snow. And dense fog near Dayton early Wednesday blurred plenty, causing school delays before switching to rain. Snow showers are expected there today. And this helicopter picked up liquid ammunition to fight a huge brush fire in Massachusetts, an hour outside of Albany, New York.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Have you ever heard of a lunar halo? It's a pretty amazing sight in the night sky. Meteorologist Dave Dirk shows us what they are and explains how they form.
Known as a lunar halo, this optical phenomenon results from moonlight that is refracted, reflected, and dispersed through ice crystals that make up the cirrus or cirrostratus clouds high up in the atmosphere, usually above 20,000 feet. Now, these ice crystals, usually hexagonal in shape, focus the light into a halo around the moon. Now, since ice crystals don't direct the light back toward the center, the sky inside the halo sometimes will appear darker than its surroundings. Now, weather lore surrounding halos around the moon go way back.
And we love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Thursday, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.